Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be here today. Thank you for the CIPHER crew for letting me present my work today. I am a PhD candidate at the University of Maryland's Joint Program and Survey Methodology, and this is part of my work. Unfortunately, this is not written in your agenda now, but I promise it's relevant and interesting. So today I'm going to present this work titled Addressing Sample Member Data Security Concerns to Reduce Non-Participation in a Passive Data Collection. I don't think I need to tell anyone in this room, just as way of background, that social science research in general has been shifting towards digital research methods that allow for more direct observation of participants in place of self-report information. And there's many benefits and opportunities to this. However, data security concerns are really driving sorry, I think this might be an older version of my slide, so apologies if I get tripped up on something. But data security concerns are really driving why participants are choosing not to join in these passive data collections. And here I want to point out that I'm going to be speaking about non-participation as in those that refuse to consent to take required actions to share data after they've been invited to a study, simply because in this research, all of my invited participants are currently responding to a survey. So this is sort of a second step after the survey response process. Overall, the literature shows that about half of the individuals that choose not to participate in a passive data collection cite data security or privacy concerns. And I'll use two experiments here to really dive into this a little bit. The first experiment will first explore whether the study context matters in the decision to participate in the passive data collection. And here I'm going to be defining the study context as the data that's requested along with the topic of the data, and the experiment will be mismatching that, and I'll show you in a minute. And then the second experiment here will be diving a little bit more into these the ability to alleviate privacy concerns by addressing trying to directly address some of those concerns once someone has decided not to participate in a passive data collection. So then my key questions in just sort of summary here is there an interaction between the study topic and the data that was requested that significantly impacts participation, such that alignment between those two leads to greater participation while misalignment leads to less participation? And then can sample members who refuse to participate due to data security concerns be converted to participate when shown a video message reiterating the data security policies that are in place? And does this really matter in terms of the demographic shifts from the initial sample to the final sample that we see? To employ these two surveys, I use a web survey with an embedded passive data collection on a smartphone. There's no app here, it's just all in one survey. And the first experiment is a 9-cell experiment, sort of varying these study topics and the requested data, such that I expect a study with the topic of daily travel patterns to also have the highest participation when we're requesting location compared to the other requested data types on here. And then the second experiment is directed at those who choose not to participate in the passive data collection at all. And those individuals randomly receive a video message, that's me, asking them to please participate. And the control is I just ask them to please reconsider participating. And in the actual experiment, I reiterate what they've already read in the introduction, but in a video format. And I wanted to just note here the applicability here for this work that we're all doing is that we're moving from a self-report survey in the first part to a passive data collection in the second part. So the higher participation, the more representativeness we have, the ability to link those two, we'll really be able to sort of shift the type of data that we're able to collect in that way. This study was conducted on the prolifics non-probability panel, so keep that quiet so it's on the slide. And everyone in this panel, everyone in this recruitment was restricted to being on a smartphone because the embedded data collection required a smartphone. In total, I had about 7,000 sample members respond to the survey. And from that, I had just about 3,000 refused. And you can see in the table here, we had about 700 per experiment, with the goal that I was hoping to get at least 200 refusals per cell, which didn't really happen because we had an extremely high participation rate. This was a deception survey. So at the end of the survey, people were informed that I had deceived them and there would be no data collection in this beyond the survey itself. And afterwards, I had 111 respondents asked to be fully withdrawn, which was equal across all experiments. So it didn't really seem to have a large impact on on our final results. So I'm going to show you the three invitations that that my respondents saw. This was the invitation to the study that would request location data. So we were asked, they were asked, will you provide your location so we can better understand either daily travel patterns or how people interact with their smartphones or social networks? Every respondent just saw one invitation. The idea being here that location and daily travel patterns would have the highest participation. If they said yes, they were immediately informed of the deception and the survey was over. If they said no, they were then sent to the video experiment. So this was the picture that they saw for the GPS study. This was the image that I saw when they were requested to share screen time details. And this was the image that they saw when I had requested a list of their recent contacts. So you can really see that these are quite different things that we're requesting across the experiments here. And then this is the language that was in the recording, where you can see I state my name, where I work, who will be looking at the data, me, and I promise never to release it, it's safe, and then I reiterate the invitation details that they saw. Okay, so that was the setup for the two experiments back to back, and the results here. First, when I looked at the requested data type and the topic together, there was no indication that the alignment between the requested data and the study topic had an impact on participation. You can see that the numbers in bold here were expected to be the smallest numbers. This is the rate of refusals you're looking at, the smallest numbers in each row. Rather, in each row. Rather, what we're seeing is across the rows, there's quite a big difference in the participation rate by the data type. So drawing that conclusion here is that the topic really had limited impact, but the data type that's requested really caused a big difference amongst the willingness to participate. Just continuing on a little bit here, you can see that again with the logistic regressions that I used in my paper, that the data type mattered, where the interactions actually had a negative impact and the topic did not matter at all. So really driving home that the topic is less important than the type of data requested. Now the big thing then moving into experiment 2 was after we saw the video message, we had a huge jump in the willingness to participate afterwards. This was across the controls and the tests, and I'll show you a more detailed table in a minute, but I really wanted to emphasize here that across every data type, there was a big jump. But when we look at the demographics, we're not actually bringing in people that are demographically different than we're already willing to participate. This is really hard to read, I know, but I wanted to split this out a little bit more so you could see that between the data types and the topics, there was matches and mismatches. And everywhere that we had a match between the data type and the topic, such as the request for location and the topic being a travel study, we saw the largest improvement. I saw the largest improvements in terms of participation. So while it doesn't appear that in the initial invitation, the alignment between the topic and the data requested seemed to matter, at the end of the day, after it was reiterated in the invitation and in the test line, which is my video message of the topic, we really did see big jumps, upwards of 10% at the very, very bottom, which had some of our lowest requests, lowest willingness to share our social network size, which was the list of contact information. So just some points for discussion here. I saw much lower rates of refusal than anticipated. This may have masked some of the difference that I was expecting to see with the alignment of the topic and the data at the end of the day, at the beginning. I had assumed 35% of respondents would be willing to participate, but I saw 58% were willing across the experiments. I think there is value to having a follow-up message. I chose a video because I could see who clicked on it and look at how long they spent on that page, sort of gauge whether it was actually watched. But I don't know if it's not shifting the demographics, it might not be worth it in a lot of instances here. And then the last point is, across all the papers I'm working on now, I think that we really I don't have a good sense about what a respondent or a participant means when they're invited to something and they say no because I have data security concerns or privacy concerns, as in very little of what I've been trying to work with alleviating these issues has succeeded yet, beyond just having a video to say, please, I will protect your data and share. So, thank you.